Now what is going on, my Tiberious tribe? Today, as you saw in the introduction, I have a CZ P10F for us to take a look at today. This CZ P10F is an optics ready version of the P10F, which is fantastic. It is lent to us by my friend Nick, so thank you very, very much to my homie Nicholas. The P10F is the big brother to the CZ P10C, which I am carrying today, and I carry very, very often. I say it all the time, the P10C is what the Glock 19 should have been, but never was. That's why I carry this, and I sold my Glock 19. The P10F is, comparing it to Glock, is slightly larger than a Glock 17 and slightly smaller than a G34. So it's right in between that 17 and 34 size, and in a way, it's everything the Glock 17 and the Glock 34 should be, but haven't quite been able to do. I will definitely take this gun over any of those Glocks any day of the week. So we're going to start at the bottom and we'll work our way up, and I'll tell you the pros and cons and what I think of this pistol. We will start with the magazine. One of the better parts of this gun is the 19-round magazine. They are metal. They are very high quality. It does come with 2 of them. Nicholas was nice enough to let me borrow 3 of them. But the magazines are great, and you can even get +2 extensions if 19 + 1 isn't enough for you. The grip on the P10F feels really, really good. It is a very, very large grip, but the shape of it, like all CZ nails the shape and the contours of the grip. It does come with 3 different back straps, small, medium, and large, so you can kind of custom fit it to your hand a little bit. As much as I love the shape of the grip, the texture on the grip is okay. It's not bad at all, but I would like it to be a little bit more aggressive. I think the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, for me, in my opinion, is the perfect grip, just so you know where I stand. These are not bad. It doesn't jump out of your hand or anything at all. The one thing I don't like on a lot of polymer pistols is this area right up here above the grip is always slick. And I understand why it's on the inside of your hand, but I don't like it. You'll see on a lot of my guns, you'll see these Talon rubber grips. I love the feel of the Talon rubber grips. They're not overly aggressive, I do understand that, but it gets rid of that smooth area up top of polymer that I don't like, and it makes all of the grips on all of my guns feel the same. So this grip is not bad at all, but it definitely could be improved with a very inexpensive pair of Talon grips. The trigger guard has a nice little undercut in here, and it has a decent little beaver tail, and you can get very, very high up on these guns when you're shooting. On like a P320 or something, you're able to get really, really high on these guns. Now the mag release is excellent. I'm going to give the mag release a straight A+. When the P10Cs first came out, the mag release was really, really stiff. Now, this one's loosened up a little bit, but it's still pretty stiff. Especially on a full magazine, it's very stiff. Empty mag, not as bad. But this one here is in a perfect position where even with this full-size gun, I can easily reach it without having to readjust my grip. And for me, that's very important. As you can tell, it shoots the magazines out very, very far. It is a reversible magazine release for you lefties. It is not ambi, which I am also a big fan of. I prefer them to be reversible and not ambi. Moving on up to the trigger. The trigger on the P10 series of pistols is fantastic. It is one of the better polymer striker-fired triggers out there. Now, I don't think it's quite as good as the VP9, but to be honest, I am very, very biased. I love my VP9 series of pistols. Regardless, it is a very, very good trigger. So your take-up here, you have a little bit of take-up. Very, very tactile, audible. Let's check the reset. Also very tactile and audible, and then not much reset at all. So that's good. And this is a very, very new gun. Nick, the owner's only put a few hundred rounds through it. I only put like 200 rounds through it because ammo is ridiculous. But the trigger and the mag release are both going to get an A+, somewhere in that area from me. Sliding on up to the rail. As you see here, it has 2 cutouts on a standard 1913 rail. And how about we fix that rail? Now that looks so much better. Let's move on up to the slide release. The slide release is probably the worst thing, in my opinion, on this gun. It is extremely stiff. If you have an empty magazine, it's not, no magazine rather, or an empty mag, it's not too bad. We'll throw an empty magazine in there. Oh man, that's tough when you have an empty magazine in there. A loaded magazine is similar to no magazine. It's a little stiff. It's very, very doable, but it is stiff. Now I will say the slide release on my P10C was stiff as well when I first got it, and it's loosened up significantly. So hopefully after a bunch of rounds, the P10F will loosen up as well. The slide release is ambi. It's the exact same size on both sides of the gun, and if you notice, it sits very, very flush with the gun. There's no little ledge or anything to push. That's part of the reason that it's harder to use it as a slide release. Like me, I do prefer to use it as a slide release. The good thing about it is it's almost impossible to ride. You're never going to ride this slide release and push it down so the slide doesn't lock backwards on the last round. Probably never going to happen with this magazine. Definitely didn't with me. But the trade-off is it's a little harder to use as a slide release. The slide itself is a nitrite finish. Not only is it very, very sharp, it's typically very, very durable. You have rear and you have front serrations, so however you load your gun or press checks, you'll be good to go. Now the slide on my P10C, this thing has been in and out of the holster thousands and thousands of times. I've had this gun for several years, and I've taken to many classes, many days at the range, carried it. Right now it's my bedside gun. And the slide on that, as you saw, held up very, very well and has very little holster wear. I kind of like the holster wear in a way, but I have a feeling this slide will hold up just as well. Now, like I said in the beginning, this particular CZ P10F is an optics ready version. In my opinion, every pistol should come optics ready. Optics on pistols, no doubt, is the future of pistol shooting, just like it's pretty much the standard for rifle shooting. This system is pretty good. The biggest pro is you don't lose your rear sight when you put an optic on this pistol. A lot of the pistols I've been reviewing lately, you lose the rear sight when you add an optic on, and I hate that. Like the P320 X5 Legion, the Q5 Match from Walter, and there's a couple others. You lose that rear sight, and that drives me nuts. So happy you don't lose the rear sight. The optic looks like they sit very, very low, like it's cut much lower than like the Glock MOS or something. Now it doesn't, whichever optic you choose to run, you do have to buy the plate for that optic. It doesn't come with any, so there's one small disadvantage. The nice thing is most of those plates are metal, and you can even get some pretty decent steel inserts from other companies besides CZ. The companies like Glock that use those plastic plates, I recommend you stay away from them. They break too easy, they warp, stuff like that. Definitely go with the metal plate. So very happy that it has an optics cut. For the price of this pistol, I'm not surprised that it doesn't come with those plates, but you can get them for RMRs, which is also for Holosun, SRO, same. You can also get them for Vortex Venoms, Delta Point, Aimpoint Acro. There's a bunch of different plates out there that you can get for the P10F optics ready pistol. I'm very happy to say the sights on the P10F are not a plastic or polymer set of sights. Both my P10C and the P10F come with metal sights, which is fantastic. You can either get them with a 3-dot sight system, or this one is the one I prefer. You have a blacked out rear, and then you have a very bright orange front with some tritium in there. The sights are wonderful. The only thing I find strange is any gun with an optics cut or a threaded barrel, I always think they should come with suppressor height sights. Chances are, if people are buying those features, they're either going to run an optic or possibly run a suppressor. Why not just give it with suppressor height sights? The extra cost to the manufacturer is very, very little, if nothing. The only disadvantage to you, you may have to hold a little different up close. Not a big deal, but that's something I want your opinion on. What do you guys think? If you buy an optics ready gun, would you expect it to come or want it to come with suppressor height sights? Sign off in the comments. Let me know if I'm being a negative Nancy or if you agree with my assessment of the sights here. Taking the gun apart is very, very simple. It is very Glock-esque. So obviously we're going to triple check, make sure the gun is unloaded, point the gun in a safe direction, and pull the trigger. These two tabs on here on the side of the gun, again, very, very Glock-esque. We are going to pull the slide to the rear slightly and then pull down on those two takedown levers. Once you do that, the gun comes apart. It's a very, very standard striker fire gun. There's not too much different from this compared to other guns. Your recoil spring is a metal, I believe a steel a guide rod is metal. It's a steel guide rod, I believe, and the spring is captured on there, so it will not go flying. Your barrel is a 4.5-inch cold hammer forged barrel, and if you've never seen a CZ barrel, they're very, very beefy. If you compared it to, like, I know I'm crapping all over Glock today, but if you compared it to a Glock barrel, these are much bigger and stronger and have a lot more steel on there. Not that the Glock barrels are bad, but these are definitely significantly bigger. Before I put this back together, let me just go ahead and add some breakthrough clean on it, so when my buddy Nicholas gets it back, it's running smooth as can be. For you guys, let's take a look at the dimensions. As you can see here, it is about an 8-inch long gun, so it's a very, very long gun. The height is 5.5 inches, and your width is 1.2. So again, right in between that Glock 17 and Glock 34 size gun. Weight 28 ounces, that's not too bad for a full-size big gun. And then your MSRP is $590. And the hard part here is, what is the street price actually going to be? I've seen them around that $500-ish price point. The optics ready version, if they're still available, is even less than that. But right now we're in the middle of the gun and ammo apocalypse of 2020. So all the prices are crazy and out of whack. So I have no idea what it's gonna go for. Right now it's going for more than that because the prices are just absolutely out of control. So we know the MSRP is $590. What the street price actually is something you're gonna have to check once all this crazy gun apocalypse stuff is over. Now that we have the gun put back together, let's talk about some pros, cons, and uses. As far as pros, I have quite a few of them. The trigger on all the P10 series of pistols is very, very good. I do like the grip, the shape, and how slender it is. It's very, very comfortable and also very, very easy to carry and very easy to conceal. I wish it was a little bit rougher textured, but that easily can be fixed with a set of Talon grips, and that's totally personal preference. So people, I think a lot of people will love the pyramids on these grips. I just prefer those Talon grips. The magazine release is great. I think it's in a perfect spot, perfect shape, perfect tension. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I like the optics cut and the optics system on here. It's not perfect, but it's very, very good, and I'm happy you don't lose your rear sight. And the plates you get to mount your optic are a metal plate, at least. They're not a polymer plate. I think overall what you get for your money with this gun is going to be one of the biggest wins. It's a $500 gun, it's full size, 19+1, high quality, great company. So you get a lot of gun for your money here. The thing I like the most, though, is going to be the shooting impulse. You know, when you shoot certain guns and they just feel good, and transitions feel good, and mag releases feel good, and just the gun shoots smooth, and everything is just the impulse and the sensation and how quick you can shoot it. It just feels really, really good. And that's how I feel about pretty much all CZ guns, this guy included. All right, cons. I have 1.5 cons. The slide release to me is a major con. I use this as a slide release. That's very important to me, and it is stiff. I know it will loosen up over time, which is good, but it's very, very tough out of the box. The half con is going to be the suppressor height sights. I don't know how passionate I feel about that, but if it has an optics plate and an optics cut rather, I think it should come with suppressor height sights. But hopefully you signed off in the comments and you gave me your opinion so I can see where I stand on that one. As far as uses, now this gun's going to have a lot of uses. Being it's a larger gun, it is pretty big. I think most of the uses are going to fall into a duty type role or a bedside gun. Competitions, absolutely, this would be a great competition gun, but there's no reason you couldn't carry this, EDC this. I used to carry a Glock 17 with an Inforce APL on there for a while, and that's a good sized gun. My buddy Jacob carries his CZ SP01 Tactical with a light every day as well. He used to, I don't know if he still does, and that's a really big heavy gun. Right now I either carry my VP9 with a Holliston dot and an Inforce APL-C on there, which is decent size. Other days I'll carry this P10C, no optic yet, but it does have a light on there. So with a good belt and with a good holster, like an M2 tactical holster, you could absolutely carry this. Not the easiest gun, it is big, but you could absolutely do it if that's something you wanted to carry. Before you go, real quick, let me thank my homie Nicholas. He lent us this gun for review, and to be honest, he might not get it back. Let me also thank you guys for watching. It is greatly appreciated. If you are looking to support the channel, there is many ways to do so. Just dropping a quick like or a quick comment down below really helps us out way more than you can even imagine. If you would like to see what videos I have coming out next, please consider subscribing to the channel. This way you will hopefully get notified when I come out with a new video. Now we have 3 channel sponsors. First one, M2 Tactical Solutions, which I mentioned earlier. Second, Howling Beard Company. Third, Breakthrough Clean. Discount code for all 3 of them is Tiberious, and you will save between 10 and 20% depending on which company you use that code with. One more time, let me say thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. First shots with the P10F. That thing is stiff. No misses! Ah, you bastard.